Hello, everyone. Deb Helfrich here. Hashtag Redheaded She-Hulk. We're just going to flow with a little improv. So, recorded 2 shows today. 9 a.m., 5:30 p.m. Just stress a performer out, you'd think. We've ended basically the stock in the calories fall session of 2020. Pulled in a lot of excess storage here. You know, it feels like I got used to being the size I was, and it's felt a little bit like things have gotten puffier. Dimensionally, some respects it feels. Other respects, I'm like, no, you're good. You're all right. I mean, the bioelectricity plummeted. It really did. And where are we at here on the forearm muscularity? Not so bad. Not so bad. You know, left is always following behind. A little of this and that. So what's mostly happened is I'm scared shitless of this bankruptcy situation. And I'm working my butt off. As I just said, what performer do performances twice a day? First thing in the morning, at the end, still 10 o'clock, like back on stage. I'm working my butt off. US of hypocrisy. But y'all don't know the value of clear, creative, life-centered thinking. It's fully anti-racist. Talks about being 2/3 Africa. Talks about always wanting to figure out how to bring really good, philosophical, wise feminine thinking. All this chaos. What a world is full of chaos. It takes a redheaded She-Hulk who has figured out philosophical hypothesis of bioelectricity so that she's really surfing the kind of stress that would produce heart attacks and strokes, suicides. There's just simply no way when a human gets to a certain point they can keep up with the stress of this globe, this non-relenting terminator of credit card robocalls. Why would we do that to fellow members of our species, y'all? And that's a word. So I'm bringing in, this I'm having a challenge with. The word fellow, like peers, colleagues. Like, how do we ungenderize or even feminine genderize fellows? My fellow philosophers, there's all fellows. We got Ms. Simone de Beauvoir. Agnès Nin came up this week. There's a picture of Henry Miller on my LinkedIn feed. I was a 15-year-old reading Tropic of Cancer. I was like, now that's curious. I really, 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 really handled Henry Miller. I loved Henry Miller from the absolute get-go. I mean, I don't know if I'd have dated Henry Miller. No, we know I wouldn't have. But as a human being so in his truth. Yeah, I haven't actually called myself the female Henry Miller. That's a new line of inquiry. And the dev, just like everyone that contributed to Deb's evolution. It's 51 and a half years old. Under threat of extinction from all y'all stupidity and ignorance and inability to use the brains you have. The way you made my brain poison. My brain! Should definitely be insured by Lloyd's of London. This kind of performance of my memory banks and seeing the salience of how to describe everything. Absolutely, I am, because I read Henry Miller. Now, what's not to say is whether I would have been a prissy girl and been all indignant, or really been like, What I was like, man, I'm curious. That's not how I work through the world. That feels like an honest consciousness. The way it's cohesive and coherent. The worldview of Henry Miller, in a way that so few mere mortals, non-creatives, like we just have to deal with shit as it is. When you don't see yourself as a conscious creator of your own life. And you can mindfully like wake up at 50 and be like, I'm gonna be lean. And then you can understand that you put on weight over the fall is a natural imperative given, 150 pounds. That's like ultra marathoning and shit. Your body's gonna demand, we call it plateaus, we call it problems. But really, I had to get center of gravity, my feelings of balance, everything. It was like, okay, right there, we've gotten rid of all the fatty fat. Now we gotta come back in here and just do a thorough check on everything. Now that you got all your movements on, now that this and that, we're gonna dial it down. Now, it's a good story. And I think it's an honest, accurate body story in a real way. But also, I stopped having access to the man who was the first to ever ask me out in Nigeria. And that's both a personal and a national and SARS kind of story. But he's the first guy I dated. I'm allowed to get unstable after that, especially I'm locked alone in a back cave by myself. Then this ever impending bankruptcy, and then starting in the work group, and then just as it was like, okay, I might be able to start by consistency of human contact. And in a certain way, this happened because I pulled back because I was physically unable to participate in the way that I wouldn't have made any of it about me. And it was somebody else's, big launch weekend and all these kinds of things. And I'm just needing help dealing with my situation, and it just keeps coming out in all the most inappropriate times, but I need help with my situation. And all I get is advice. This is why I'm challenging all you life coaches to step the fuck aside. Some of y'all is great, phenomenal. Most of y'all, and it's that there's so many of y'all And that what is really truthfully like personal work, like building a framework and narrowing things down, and y'all got your own little trademarky systems and shit. That works when you got a game like basketball, and here's the ball, and here's the hoops, and here's the 5 players. But when you're talking about somebody's life, too much of that framework is just sameness, and you're not, as much as, again, somebody like Martha Beck is really enabling personal evolution. Most is just like, be like Mike's. I don't know how to explain this talent and skill. I mean, it's stand-up philosophy. It's Socratic dialogue, Socratic monologues. It is, stand-up comedy, truthfully, stand-up truth-telling. But I'm not like making fun of anyone. There's no negativity. It's productive. It's philosophical training. Methodology is, I'm just going to do what I need to do, as far as the way I think is very matrixed. I go through many levels. I don't accept something into my brain, anything, without doing checks and balances. And I go in my memory banks and I say, okay, what we know about having a guy like Elon Musk be the 3rd richest guy in the world. There's so much need, and there's all these companies, and companies only care about shareholders, and humans are dying, earthlings are dying. Why don't we twist his wrist a little bit, right? Just loosen it up, just like, hi. I'm gonna figure out how to get you what you want more efficiently, more humanely. So you just saved my life over here. All right. What I'm doing is basically televising my evolution. However, the Hail Mary pass, where my Lynn Swan at? Steelers in the house. Where my Lynn Swan at? I am Terry Bradshaw in this shit. Okay, I'm tweeting 3 weigh-ins, given day, trying to translate back from democracy. Let's just make the weigh-ins the monarchy of America. Things will get so much better. Don't tell me that is not a great fucking idea. In living color in a White House. I can't be the first one to have done that joke. That part of it. Somebody has got to, I know many people, but the intro, tweeting 3 weigh-ins, and it was Kim. Everybody forget there's a Kim in there. And then that little bit between, that's all death. Let's make weigh-ins the royal family of the U.S. of hypocrisy. We go on a 7-day fast. It feels like one of the hardest initiations I've had in quite some time. Certainly, I got a little cocky about how easy it was to fast. We were pumping in a lot of carbohydrates, a lot of simple carbohydrates, to process so much fat burning. Be clear about what I'm going to say here. There was the period when we really were not having enough calories. We were fasting all the time, back and forth, intermittent, completely random, as the body needed. So we were burning more calories than we took in. And over this summer, it was really an intense, like hungry like a racehorse. And what I'm saying is that process of losing the 150 pounds created so much metabolic change and rippled through every system of my body. And again, having my posture good and this and that and the other thing. Like I know right now I had gotten what it's more shape that I'm objecting to right now than anything. But yet at another level, things are also shapelier, because what I'm telling you is I used to really be able to see, here's all the fat that's ready to go. This is, yeah. So this is now, I mean, it feels bigger than where we were at. It feels like we're back to like May or June, when in July and August we were really lean to me. See, overall, now I got some shoulder positioning. I'm gonna try to stick this one out. Nothing to be ashamed of here for this reveal, especially in that angle, right? Something about it, it worked. So I have had trouble. I mean, again, I don't have any money for food. Going into a fast is now like an emotional situation. It's like I have to keep all the food I have and start rationing it. That's a different impetus than fasting naturally, because I got all this calories to burn. And I'm trying to just get on film to get back into, I do feel uncomfortable in this slight putting on to get through the winter. I'm crazy uncomfortable about being evicted. Luckily, in Washington State, it's almost impossible to think. I don't have until March. So I'm going to have to, it's everything I'm doing is trying to be on the internet to network with people and get some help. Otherwise, I'm just homeless. But I'm making myself so sick being on the internet, doing 3 performances a day. It's sort of like I've got to get into real hibernation mode. So that's why today, this, I don't know, I think it's the 5th, November 5th. We're going to really have to. Now 7 may be too much. I'm really, really operating on glucose here. So there's going to be a bigger on-ramp. Potentially, is what my body's telling me. My body's saying, be alert, get the salt out, right? Have salt around. Always go to the salt. Also give yourself a little bit of honey. If there is a real situation. But do the 7-day fast. So what happened in my body? It was a curious range of things. I got almost to the point of narrating it, and I'm like, well, let's see where all this goes. There was a wide circle of like, panic, and then like, you speak a truth. You're speaking truth to Jesus, gonna be hard, but no, it really doesn't. In the truth, we're not experiencing the pleasure that we used to in the body, because we're eating non-optimally. And it's this back and forth that, again, the fall harvest is very much an ancestral signal to pack in the calories if they're around. And there's this sort of over-looming threat of who knows if we'll make it through the winter. Quite literally. All right, y'all. I'm gonna leave you with that. What happens when I end up lean? My 52nd year of life. Happens if this evaporates this winter. I have a video of my first Chappelle challenge, which I called the second because it was just the second draft. I didn't keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And I can prove how much of a change has occurred in personality and vibrancy, and just having a t-shirt on, put a little scarf, just get a little extra coverage. Do humans start being able to do this at 51 and a half? Yes and no. I don't think the philosopher aspect and the brilliance with which I can philosophize all me. But like becoming a performer, I'm saying no, there's a robust tradition, and especially this cohort of women after their kids go off to college and maybe a divorce or maybe, jobs, and just really, really change it. So I don't want to, deny that, but I mean, the specificity of the 150 pounds and the polar bear to the giraffe, and foreseeing COVID-19 in my movie Landalosi, which I called all seasonal sunlight flu. Here's the deal. That has to be true. Why it have to be true philosophically? This is where you can start to really name all seasonal sunlight flu, which was the villain in my movie. It makes perfect sense to you as an early draft of COVID-19. Like, I'm not just like making up, I prognosticated it. I'm giving you the proof simply in the words that I used to describe how I pre-envision COVID-19 as all seasonal sunlight flu. And God damn, if I had got myself to Botswana, they ain't have no deaths. Yeah, I just, my timing is just ever so slightly ahead of the global curve, but perhaps somewhere in my life, again, I think I'm personally really sprinting to catch up to where I need to be as far as the health situation. I just need somebody to invest in my life's potential. That everything has to be a company, that everything is this VC ass kissing. You can't get to these people, and they're really only looking, again, for this framework. And now I know about Naval. How am I going to get Naval to see me on the Twitter? And just really we got to lean in to this dysfunction, because this is the product in so many ways. And there we're at, 27 minutes. Always a Pippin. I was in the dark in the kitchen doing a little something for y'all. just prepped and knowing that I should come and put it on. And do I amuse myself and always a Pippin? But it's quite fascinating. You see me do it all the time. I have an internal timekeeping system to my favorite numbers. Why is that, you ask? Well, I have reps, right? When I'm trying to do some reps, right? Okay, I do some reps, right? And I like to do my balance. Well, the balance is not all that good. It is the middle of the night. I said performance number 3, and I was getting tired. I was about to wrap up. But I count to my favorite numbers. I don't know what numbers y'all rep to, and are you just sticking with like the ones that the trainers tell you? Do you have favorite numbers? I always set things to 18 minutes and 33 seconds versus 23 minutes. That would be the progression. 3, 9, 18, 23. There's some prognosticating for your 18-year-old ass. I've been working on this really advanced brain skill. Telekinesis. Think I can do it? Don't test me. Don't test me. Because everything is frequency. This is what getting into the fasting zone is about. This is about really focusing all of my energy on, I have put in 10,000 hours on this telekinesis situation. I really have. And I simply cannot let the Terminator robocalls knock me off the box, Rick. Knock me off. Knock me off the box, Slick Rick. And our response to that, always and forevermore, time for hibernation, only elation. Q-tip, holla, 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 holla. Holla, 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 holla. My friend of Dave Chappelle. I think about having conversations with Dave Chappelle and Q-tip. This enough to just be like, oh, Terminator, Schmerminator. We got the Linda Hamilton's up under here. Don't test me. I only say what's going to come true. Because I'm in an altered state of consciousness. This is this concept of programming your subconscious, putting on a play for yourself, by yourself, recording yourself, reminding yourself of everything you've gotten right, and going, these things that feel really hard, these things that you really have put in 10,000 hours, you really have put in 10,000 hours. You have screen grabs. I'm going 50%. And this is one of those exponential things. It's simply, you are going to be the most magnetic piece of consciousness at those seconds when you want to make that specific effect in the world happen. You're good at it. Your internal body clock on performances is always coming in. And you're a little bit like, because you really do have, I'm not setting myself a time, it will work. But I'm letting myself go and then like, okay, what do I got and how do I come in a Pippin? Or Jordan, or 18. Right, you feel it. You're pounding these feet. You're making the truth. You're making the truth. You're making the truth. You're making it the truth. You're making the true. And it is going to occur. It is coming. Right now. Right the fuck now, Deb. I see you. I know you. I know this is really, really spooky action at an incomprehensible distance. And you have all of the data you need. It's simply about feeling right in the groove when to make that signal resonate. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I know it. Now we've got the proof. Peace, harmony.